What's up, you guys? I hope your day's going good. And tomorrow's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm eating my dinner and I'm gonna multitask. So if you don't like it when people eat in front of you, I highly suggest turning off this one. But it's delicious. So I'm gonna be eating when it's hot. But I left off with the last biology video. We were talking about like what it means if you say something is alive, and then we talked a little bit about microscopy. That was fun. And then I said I would continue, so here we go. Life is cellular and replicates through cell division. Do you know about cell division? In 1665, the Englishman Robert Hooke devised a crude microscope to examine the structure of cork, a bark tissue, from an oak tree. The instrument magnified objects to just 30 times, which I don't know if you guys have ever, you can buy hand lenses like on Amazon and stuff. Highly recommend trying to find it without going to Amazon personally, but that's what the good ones do, is they magnify 30 times. But it allowed Hooke to see something extraordinary. In the cork, he observed small, empty-looking compartments that were invisible to the naked eye. Hooke coined the term cells for these structures because he thought they resembled the cells inhabited by monks in a monastery. Soon after Hooke published his results, the Dutch scientist Anton van Leeuwenhoek, I have no idea how to say that, developed a much more powerful microscope, some capable of magnifications up to 300 times. With these instruments, Van Leeuwenhoek inspected samples of pond water and made the first observations of a dazzling collection of single-celled organisms that he called animalcules. I did not know that. Animalcules. That's good. Clever. In the 1670s, an Italian researcher who was studying the leaves and stems of plants with a microscope concluded that plant tissues were composed of many individual cells. By the early 1800s, enough data had accumulated for a German biologist to claim that all organisms consist of cells. Could you imagine what that would be like to find something new and to find it everywhere? That would be crazy. That's kind of like when germ theory happened and everybody was like, what the fuck? What are all these things? Anyway, I wonder, obviously in physics when we found out about quarks, we had the same reaction, like, what the fuck? Quarks. So I wonder what we're gonna find next that's even tinier, you know? Like, do you really think what we determine as fundamental particles are fundamental? Like, I get that we think that there can be like something that's just a finite size or whatever, but I think that as much as things can get really, really, really big, they could also get tiny, 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 tiny. Does it matter for our perspective if it does happen? That's debatable. But I don't know. I'm suspicious. I'm also suspicious about what we observe in, like, the Big Bang. We think that, oh, what created the Big Bang, and nobody knows and we'll never know. But, like, it wouldn't really be that far of a stretch of the imagination to think that something could be bigger than anything that we've witnessed before, you know? Or like composed of something different, or like, yeah, like there's supermassive black holes, so what if there's a bigger one than that? The universe is infinite, right? So there could be something bigger than stars that we just don't know about. But then the question is, might actually make sense. You know, if something were super huge, that there wouldn't be as many of it. Like there would be, because there's kind of this like uneven distribution of mass throughout the universe, right? And it's going to reach equilibrium at the end, right? Everything kind of entropy, it's going to go towards like a more organized or more chaotic state, right? But like it wouldn't be that far of a stretch of the imagination, I think. You guys just witnessed me going through some really interesting thoughts. Not that interesting, I guess. All organisms are made of cells, but we get this because we know this. They found out about this. The smallest organisms known today are bacteria that are barely 200 nanometers wide, or 200 billionths of a meter. It would take 5,000 of these organisms lined up side by side to span a millimeter. This is the distance between the smallest hash marks on a metric ruler. In contrast, sequoia trees can be over 100 meters tall, the equivalent of a 20-story office building. Bacteria and sequoias are composed of the same fundamental building block, however, the cell. Bacteria consist of a single cell, sequoias are made up of trillions of cells. Realization that all organisms consist of cells was fundamentally important, but it formed only the first part of the cell theory. Besides understanding what organisms are made of, scientists wanted to understand how cells come to be. So where do cells come from? We'll do that next time.